Aloha friends, it's Cindy from Stamped with Aloha, and I have a fantastic project to share with you today. I'm going to teach you how to create a bright and beautiful blinking party favor. So let's go ahead and take a look at today's project. So this is our little favor. I just recently created this for a holiday party that I did, and it just creates such a fun ambiance with a little blinking light inside. It is a party favor, so there is some Ghirardelli candies inside of here. But what's fun about this is you can also recycle this after, and you can use it as a little tree ornament, or you can use it just to decorate your home or your office. So when you open it up, you untie it like this. And then you just would take out the little battery operated light, and then your candy is inside. And this holds 2 different Ghirardelli chocolates. All right, let's get started. I'm excited to share this with you. So to create our project, we need a 4 3/4 by 8.5 piece of white thick cardstock. So for our scoring, I'm going to begin at 2 inches, and we're going to score every 2 inches and go 2, 4, 6, and 8. So super simple, okay? Then I'm going to take and turn my cardstock so that it's now lined up at the 4 3/4 line. And we are going to do 2 score lines. One at 2 1/4 and one at 3 1/4. Okay. All right. For the next step, I'm going to line my stylus at 1 1/2, and I want to score at 1 1/2, but I'm going to skip this first section. So I'm not going to press down, but I'm going to bring it down till I get to the first scored line. So between the first score line and the second score line, I'm going to score straight across. Okay. Then I'm going to skip the next section right here. I'm going to just bring my stylus straight down, and at this next score line, I'm going to score again at the 1 1/2 mark and just score across until I get to the end of the project. Okay, so we've just added those 2 score lines that are in between the larger sections. So we have a large section, then that little one we just made, a larger section, and then the little one that we just made. So now our scoring is done, and now we're ready to move on to do some cutting. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my bone folder, and I'm just going to use it to crease on all of the lines that I scored. Okay, so now we're ready to do some cutting. So on the side here where we have this little 1/2 inch part, this is where we're going to make the flap that's going to hold our box together. So I'm going to get out my scissors, and I'm going to start by cutting along the edge of that center flap, and I'm going to cut this side of the box off, this little skinny rectangle. And then I'm going to cut this longer rectangle here off. Okay, and then I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to do a little angled cut on that flap. Okay, now along the bottom where you have these 4 equal rectangles, I'm going to just cut straight up till we get to that middle section. So from the outside to the first score line, and I'm going to do that 3 more times. Then I'm going to turn it around this way, and now we have these 2 larger rectangles, and then we have the 2 rectangles where we made that line at the 1 1/2 inch mark. Okay, so what we're going to do is we want to remove these 2 sections. So I'm going to start here along the score line and go straight to the center. And then where I made that 1 1/2 score line, I'm going to cut this section off. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to cut up from here to that center, and from here to the center, and then I'm going to, where I made that 1 1/2 score, I'm going to cut that off. Okay. All right. Now I think I'm going to go back, cut a little angle cut there, and doing this will just make the box go together a little bit easier. All right, so now the template is done, and we are ready to put the box together. So I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to fold in this little flap, and I'm going to add a little bit of my multi-purpose liquid glue there, And then I'm going to take the box and I'm just going to bring it over and fold it flat. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze it for a minute, let it dry, and then I'll pop it open. The next thing that I want to glue is the sides. So I'm going to open up those two flaps here. Let me open this up so you can see. So on these two flaps here, the short flaps, I'm going to put my adhesive and then I'm going to glue them down. Okay, now that's done. So now we're going to do the bottom of the box. So at the bottom, we're just going to tuck in the flaps. We'll add some adhesive and we'll glue the bottom down. Okay. All right, and then the last step is I'm going to take the top two flaps. I'm going to hold them together so that they're even. I'm going to hold them together tightly, and then I'm going to grab a hole punch, and just make sure that's even, and then we'll just add a little punch through those layers. Okay, so the hardest part of this project is done, and now we're ready to move on to the fun part. All right, we're going to begin our stamping with the Humble Home stamp set. I'm going to be using this image here, and then we're also going to be using the Snowy Wonder. Now we're not going to do any stamping, although you could add the stamping and it would just step this project up. But what we're going to do with Snowy Wonder is use the coordinating dies that come with Snowy Wonder. And for that, I've die cut a tree out of Garden Green, one out of Shaded Spruce, and one out of Old Olive. If you take a look at the stamp set, we actually could have stamped a tree and stamped this tree. This one is just kind of adds the texture. But if we wanted to, we could have added that, and that would, again, just bump this project up to the next level. And then for the words on this project, I'm going to be using Peaceful Season, hoping the season is bright and beautiful. And I'll be stamping that with red ink. Okay, so let's start by stamping our house. So for that, the Humble Home is a bundle. So it comes with a coordinating punch, or you can purchase it as a bundle. And so I'm going to use my Memento Black ink. And I'm going to get out my house stamp, and I'm going to stamp a house here, and I'll flip it around and stamp another house here. Okay, so there's our front and back, and then we'll go ahead and punch both of these out. All right, for the next step, you're gonna need some type of a cutting mat, and then you'll need a sharp blade that you can cut the windows out, okay? So I'm just gonna go along the edges of here on both sides, and then go across. And then we'll do that on both sides. All right, and when you're done, you'll have two houses with the open windows. All right, and then for the next step, we're gonna add a little bit of color. I have a light real red marker. I'm gonna go ahead and add color to the door and to the rooftop. So our houses are stamped and colored and ready to be put on our project. But before we do, let's go ahead and prepare our sentiment. So I'm going to be punching with the double oval punch. I believe this is a retired punch from Stampin' Up. And I'm doing a garden green layer and a white layer. Any die cut or layered tag will do if you don't have that punch. And then I'm going old school. Happen to have my old school red pad here. So I'm going to take and ink up my stamp and stamp it in the center of that little oval. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put glue in the center here and add it to the green backing. All right, let's move on to the next step. Okay, so I have my base. I'm going to take one of the houses. I'm going to put adhesive just at the very bottom, and then I'm going to center that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this tree, the large tree, I'm going to add a little glue to the back, and I'm going to mount that so that it's overlapping the house a little bit, but not in front of the window, just kind of at an angle. And then I'm going to take 2 dimensionals and place 2 dimensionals behind this tag. Then we're going to put that at the bottom here. And then with this little olive tree, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back. And because I mostly put glue in the center, then I should be able to slide this under the edge of the tag and have that overlapping that first tree. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the shaded spruce. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on the back of this one. And then I'm going to slide that in between those 2 layers right there. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then we just flip it around. We'll take and put just a line of glue at the bottom. Can you hear the birds? You know, it's raining right now. It's actually the perfect day for stamping because it's kind of a little bit dark outside right now, and it's only 1 in the afternoon, and it's just rainy, and I actually have a class tonight, so it's a Christmas class, so it'll kind of makes it, here in Hawaii, it'll make it feel a little bit more like our cozy weather. All right, so now I've got my house attached to the back, and basically you just go ahead and fill it with whatever candy of your choice. I love the holiday Ghirardellis. This is a red, intense, dark one. And then there's a peppermint one that's really cute. I'll put red and gold in this one. No, I'm gonna put the peppermint one in because I like that. So I'll put a dark chocolate and a peppermint bark because those are so good. If you're ready to decorate your party or give this away as an ornament, or if you're gonna take it to a neighbor, then you would go ahead and light it up by turning on the tea light and dropping it in there. That's battery operated tea light only. And then we are going to take a piece of baker's twine or ribbon or whatever of your choice. And so I'm going to take this one and thread it through. And then we're going to tie this little favor up. So I just helped a friend make one of these, and she took it to an ornament exchange. And it was an ornament party where you had to make your own ornament. So I taught her how to make this one, and it was, it made me so happy because she actually won the contest, and she sent me a picture of the person who got the ornament, and they were so happy to get this little ornament. So I thought that was really fun that this won a little ornament contest. Okay, well, that completes our little project. I wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video. I so appreciate your support. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, feel free to go ahead and hit subscribe if you'd like to continue seeing my videos. And I want to wish each and every one of you a very bright and beautiful season. Merry Christmas.